I kept being corrected, so I was like, "Oh, good. Well, welcome to the program, sir."
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, that was quite the surprise having Jordan Johnson on, and then I mean, no sooner we get off, Austin's like, "Dude, I
Dude,
got
like
Lando
that.
coming in." And I'm like, at first, I'm new to the UCF group, so I'm like, who's that? And he's like, the punter. I'm like, oh, great. I just got done ragging on the punters in that last episode. I'm like,
It happens.
yeah. So, in all honesty, yes, I was. I was like the only person, because we talked about, money coming in, paying players, and I was like, come on, the only person that's buying the punter's jersey is mom and grandma.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
and as soon as he said that, I'm like going, oh God, I'm just gonna have to fess up when I first thing when I talk to him, just take it, just take the pain. But no, it's a pleasure having you on, sir. And I know Austin's got quite a few things, because he knows your history a lot better than the rest of us. So.
I'm a Florida State fan, so I mean,
Unfortunately.
I'm born and raised in Orlando, so every time I jump on the UCF bandwagon, y'all lose. So that's why I stay off the bandwagon. I'll watch from afar.
That's fair enough.
My excuse is I'm a Hawaii Warriors fan, so that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved out here, so that's my excuse.
I gotcha.
So,
Okay.
But so
Starting this here.
now, when was your last season?
My last season was the Fiesta Bowl, so I guess that was 2019.
Okay.
Going into 2019, right after.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's not a bad way to finish off the career.
No, not at all. I had one of my best games too in that Fiesta Bowl, so I was okay with it.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
It's one of those. Everybody gives a hard time to the kicking squad. All jokes aside, but I mean, you want to talk about a position that probably at certain moments has some of the most pressure logged on one play. I'm like, here we are in the end zone. If you even screw up, it's a safety and the game's over. So you better get this punt off. And it's just that everybody just, and everybody yells, oh, the kicker. And I'm like, well, you guys kind of did put me back in the part where I'm in the end zone. So yeah, I'm trying to just get the best out of what the mess that you guys handed me.
Yeah.
If people don't really realize how much pressure or what it feels like to have 9 or 10 guys running at you trying to rip your leg off before you kick a ball, I can get the heart going a little bit.
Oh, I bet. So,
well, it's not just you're punting the ball too, but you also were 2018 holder of the year. So not only are you punting, now you have to hold the ball possibly for a game-winning field goal, and there's that too.
Yeah.
So you have a tough job, man. No one realizes.
No, it's a lot of it comes down to just doing it at practice so many times you don't really think about it once the moment comes up and you just go out there and do it. But yeah, I remember at Memphis that 2018-19 season when we were playing at Memphis and it was cold and rainy, and Matty Ice was lining up for a field goal from I think it was 48 or 49 yards before halftime. And all I could think about was, dear God, please let me catch this and get it down. Please let me catch this and get it down. But that was one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my time at UCF was that one freaking kick to try to cut the lead down at the 10 going into half or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, laces out.
Laces out, Dan. That's easier said than done.
Yeah. Well, he always has like a pit crew thing. It's like, when you actually slow it down, you realize it's just like in a split second, you have to catch that ball, push it. I mean, I'll watch some of those things. I mean, as the holder is just rotating and just starting to get there, the foot's already taken, make contact with that ball.
I think our get off time was normally right around 1:31 or 1:29.
Wow.
Jeez. So this snap, catch, down, kick.
We all know Matty Ice is a good kicker. How many times do you take your finger off?
Honestly, maybe once or twice when I first started holding for him back in the Peach Bowl year. But other than that, because I got the timing down pretty quick. It's the way I hold the ball, my fingers are out of the way. But it didn't happen that many times. Now Barnes, that was hard because holding for a lefty, I had to swap everything in my mind, and I held the ball with the wrong hand a couple of times. And he caught my pinky once or twice because I didn't get out of the way fast enough. But that's about it.
You learn real fast to get that pinky out.
You learn really fast to get the hand out of the way.
Yeah, I was gonna try to go from where you started. We got to be our first comment, and the reason I posted you saw it on Instagram was your hair picture, was because the year after you graduated, you shaved your hair for Locks of Love. It was the best picture I loved when you were doing that golf swing, because you were known for having your little shenanigans on TV, man. You dropped it on the 20-yard line, you putted it like a little golf club, man. Everyone loved watching that. So that was a great comment.
Yeah,
That's totally just me having fun with it, you know. I mean, because at the end of the day, college football is a business, but you got to find something to take the edge off, take the pressure off, so you can keep going out there and keep having fun with it, and know why you love playing that game.
Yeah.
I saw that one picture that Austin did for the promo, and it has like your head, whipping back, like. And the first thing I thought of was that State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers. When it shows him doing the whole thing, he's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I almost drowned myself in that picture because I didn't realize how much water would not come out of that once I slapped it and I dumped it on my face, and it was ice cold water. And I almost took a huge breath in as soon as it hit my face, but thank God I got it off for a little bit. But, that was rough.
Jesus.
So are you still in the Central Florida area?
No. So after the Fiesta Bowl, I couldn't pay rent, so I had to pack my house up, and we moved out of my house on January 4th. And so I came back home to Georgia, where my parents are. I've just been training and lifting weights, working a part-time job every day, trying to keep some money in the bank, but just kind of really focusing on getting to the NFL.
Oh, okay. Good. What part of Georgia are you in?
I live in Cedartown, Georgia. It's about 45 minutes west of Atlanta. You ever heard of Nick Chubb?
Nick Chubb, yeah.
Yeah, he's from here. Me and him went to middle school with each other.
That's awesome.
I work out with him every day, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So are you going to do any pro days coming up? Or?
Yeah, so I plan on coming back down to UCF and doing their pro day, but I have no idea if it's still going to happen or not because it was scheduled for the 26th. With this whole coronavirus thing, everything's getting locked down for who knows when. So I really have no idea what's going to happen, quite honestly.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that just everybody's questioning. I mean, it's just, we were talking about prior to going on air, it's just this craziness. That's the looting of grocery stores. I mean, I took a picture of Bread Island Walmart. I go, and I mean, I guess in a way we could say that maybe this is a good thing because the Little Debbie section was completely stocked. The rest of the bread aisle was completely gone. But so you make it like, all right, well, I guess I'm in a loot panic, but I'm still going to make a better choice: the whole wheat bread over the Little Debbie oatmeal.
Off subject, that was totally opposite from my Walmart. All the Debbie's was gone, all the organic stuff was still there, and everything. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, them canceling pro day could be a blessing in disguise for you. I mean, you get a little more time to train, if you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, I'm hitting the ball the best I've hit it in quite a while. So I mean, it's just I'm ready for whenever something happens. But if I got to wait another month or month and a half, then so be it. But I'll still be ready for it.
Where would you like to go?
Whoever wants to sign that check.
Okay.
See, that was the problem I had, man. When we found out you and Matty Ice was leaving, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, so you know how bad we are. I turned to my uncle. We're also Tampa Bay fans. I said, what do we got to do to get Mac Loudermilk and Matty Ice on Tampa Bay? We need a punter and we need a kicker. And I saw you tried out and you didn't make it. I was like, there's something wrong with general office in Tampa, man. They screwed up bad.
Well, it didn't help the fact they just signed Bradley Pinion to a pretty big deal right before I got invited down there for that tryout. So, I mean, I kind of knew what was going to happen going down there, but I just wanted the chance to get in front of the people's eyes, the coach's eyes and stuff like that, to keep me on a short list, kind of have my name out there for anything that comes up.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL is pretty close-knit circle, so, I mean, you probably did the right thing, knowing that you might not get selected, but somebody else give one of their partners a jingle and be like, hey, look at him. He's
exactly.
on the radar.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, for instance, before the Super Bowl, I thought I was going to be going down to Miami to kick for the San Francisco 49ers because Kansas City's punter, he's a lefty. And so what teams will do is they'll call in guys to kick to their returners for like maybe 1 or 2 days and then send them on. But turns out they brought down Brad Wing instead to kick for him. But it's the nature of the business. But, yeah, I thought I was going to go to Miami for a couple of days during that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, everyone probably wants to know. You're from Georgia. You said you had a couple offers from Furman, Charlotte, Charleston Southern, and Appalachian State, and of course UCF. What drew you to UCF?
At the time, UCF was close to home. It was only about 3.5 hours. I lived in Valdosta during high school, so I didn't think we'd move back up to North Georgia then. But I knew it was 3.5 hours, 4 hours from home, so it's not a bad drive for my parents if they wanted to make it. It came down between UCF and Navy, quite honestly, and I almost pulled the trigger on Navy, but I wouldn't be able to be a fighter pilot because of I've had 2 broken bones. I got bad eyes, and I wasn't honestly quite sure about being shot at for the next 4 years after college. So I chose UCF after that, and then I took a visit to UCF. I think it was the South Carolina game. Took an unofficial visit down there, and I just saw the stadium packed full, and I fell in love with it immediately.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing about the stadium when Austin finally got me a game this last season against East Carolina. So I got to experience that with it, the bounce house and with everything shaking. And I looked at him. I said, "This is a lot like Hawaii. If you've ever been to Honolulu, I go, it's the same thing. It's that steel and concrete, and when everybody starts cheering, you can feel the whole thing just starting to do this flex thing. It's a pretty cool feeling."
I love it. This year was the first time in 5 years I ever got to see the game from not the sideline perspective. So I got to be a fan for once, and it was really neat to see that again.
Nice.
Now, when it comes, you can go ahead, Greg.
No, go ahead. No.
Well, you're part of the 2017 national championship run. Do you think that hurt you a little bit because you didn't punt as often because we scored so much, or not really?
Nah, for me, my perfect game is not having to kick the ball one time because that means we're scoring points.
Gotcha.
I love doing my job, but I would much rather hold a ball for Matty Ice to kick a field goal or kick an extra point.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's still on the resume thing. It's like, you didn't flood it's like there wasn't a missed, opportunity where you're suddenly running with the ball because, that's
exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
You had to watch the shenanigans with him too. Him, Matty Ice, and I'm really don't know his name unfortunately, but a long snapper. Every time they scored an extra point, a field goal, they would get together in a group, shotgun a beer. Just every time they would. Man. It was great.
I got stopped though. We the dean of students
called
down during the middle of, I want to say it was a night game. It might have been tough. I forget who it was. It was one of our last night games at UCF. And the dean of students actually called down to somebody on the sidelines and told us to stop, or else we would face consequences.
Oh, Jesus.
And so after that, we started shooting darts or beer pong shots after that. And then finally, we thought it would just blow over, but they got passed on to the actual president of UCF, and then it got passed to Heupel. And then Heupel took it to us, and he was like, "Look, just chill out with it. Do something else." Fair enough. They're pretty serious about it, so we'll stop.
Nice.
Well, welcome.
That's awesome.
We also got a letter from the department.
Really?
Yeah. After Brandon Wimbush and Otis Anderson,
and Coach Galosh.
Yeah, we got this nice little letter from the assistant director, athletic director, telling us that we are no longer allowed to get interviews without going through them first.
Oh, wow.
I messed up.
Well, I mean, we always had that rule. It's like whenever I would do podcast, any type of interview, I would always ask. I think it was Andy Seeley at the time. Is it cool if I do this? And then he would say yes. So it might be kind of on the players for not asking about that, but it's not totally y'all's fault.
Yeah. But we've been cut off. We've been cut off since then. I mean, y'all give an amazing story too, but we kind of been cut off. We asked him. We sent him an email. He never responded back to us. So
we'll talk to him again.
Yeah.
So we sent him, but it was one of those. It's like I was told the guys, I'm like, wow, we could look at this bad, but hey, man, we're on the radar. I go, an actual call.
Yeah.
I go, a Division I school knows who we are, and it's like, yeah, you guys need to stop. It's like, hey,
we're making waves, we're making racket.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Our little corner of the internet's working. It's like, yeah.
So what did you end up majoring in?
So I got my undergrad in sports and exercise science, and I got half a master's degree in education.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your
So-
goal? Like I said, if NFL doesn't pan out, so what's your long term goal? What are you looking to use?
Plan B is the coach in college, and
Nice.
Plan C is the coach at high school. And that was the whole reason for getting that master's degree in education. Was in Georgia, you have to be able to teach to coach high school football.
Mhm.
And so that would go for that. If it came down to that, I would have that master's to fall back onto.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, what subject would you like to focus on? Are you going to be that cool gym teacher, that teaches weightlifting and stuff? That you want to be the guy that, like, dude, I want Max class, man. Man, that guy's.
If I had to choose, I would do some type of like anatomy class or some type of science class. But ideally, I would probably do gym or weight room or something like that.
That's cool. That was some of the cool guys. Like we had a science guy in high school and the gym. Those are the guys that pretty much they're like, as long as you don't get me in trouble, we're good.
Exactly.
In
Just do
Florida,
your work.
Yeah.
I don't know about in Georgia, but in Florida, that's where you go when you don't want to go to class. You go to the weight room, or you go
Exactly.
hang out.
Yeah.
The weight room coach is, hey, I'm coming over here, coach.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that was good. That's you always wonder that about people. It's like unfortunately, a lot of guys, their whole sole goal is to make it to the next level. And they're not really thinking about that next step. I mean, and it sounds like you came into it like, this is what I want to do, but realistically, I need to have this ready to roll because dreams don't pay the bills.
No, dreams die off every now and then. It's going to happen. You have something putting money in the bank to help keep those dreams going along at least.
Yeah, and
No.
have you keep in touch with most of the guys? Like, I mean, we had Aaron Evans on, and we've been following all his artwork that he's doing, the murals and stuff. I don't know, have you been keeping up with those guys?
Yeah, so I talked to Wyatt Miller, Caleb Perez, Matt Wright, my group of guys that I mainly hung out with. We talk every day still. Pat Jasinski, Joey Connors, Tyler Hudanic. We're in
Savage Pat.
communication. Yeah, we've talked almost every day, almost all day. So
Okay.
yeah, I still keep in touch with the boys and everything.
Nice.
Now, it said your first game was officially 2015. That we don't want to talk about that year.
Yeah.
Did you regret? Did you sit back and go, man, I probably chose the wrong team, or did you realize that hey, it happens, and you see where we took off? So
yeah, no. So I committed to UCF. I knew that this was the school I wanted to be at. So I mean, it was at every like negative point in my career, there's always something to look back on and to grow from it. So, I mean, going 0-12, yeah, it sucked. But it taught the guys who were there a lot to, what it truly means to be a leader, to come together as one and stuff like that. I don't think that I would have been as mentally mature as I am now if it wasn't for that 0-12 year.
yeah.
They always say you got to be a loser before you could be a winner. So when you lose, you know how to humble yourself to the good wins when you went
exactly, and that's
quote, national champions.
There's no quote unquote from the record book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. My favorite question is: do you think you could have beat Alabama? That's my question.
Why not?
Cool.
Any given Sunday.
We're 2 for 1. We're 2 for 1. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I told you, man. That was a good year. That was like we were right there, man. I'm telling you. And I wish we were given the opportunity.
Like we do.
Yeah.
So I mean, in my mind, people always say, "You really think you could beat Alabama?" I was like, "Well, at least we won our conference, and at least we won our bowl game."
You did.
I mean,
Yeah.
You got them, and my biggest thing is they couldn't have been the best team in the nation if they didn't even win their division, much less their conference.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's my whole argument.
It kind of sucks when you're so high on a horse. You have nothing to gain by playing UCF, but UCF has everything to gain by whooping your tail. And it kind of sucks. You're not going to bow down and say, oh, well, I'll play UCF. Because if they beat the trash out of you, you have nothing to prove. It's not good.
It's a lose-lose for them. It's, okay, you're supposed to beat UCF, or it's, oh, wow, you got beat by UCF. Now what? So they have no – same thing with all these other Power 5 schools. They have no reason to play us, Boise State, Houston, guys like that, because it's not really a win-win for them. If you win, it's okay, well, you're supposed to, congrats. But if you lose, it's, wow, you're the team that lost to the Group of 5 school.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe if somebody could promote something like that really hard, like sell out a whole pro stadium. If you could sell out an NFL stadium with UCF and Alabama fans, I believe they could make it happen. The schools would split phenomenally amount of money. Like, hey,
You
look,
say
we
that
got.
though,
I
but
think it.
we
I
we're
think it.
trying. We're trying to get FSU and Florida, and you guys keep backing down. We could
Well, it's
fill
because
a stadium.
we could, but like Florida, they have nothing to gain either because they're
Yeah.
borderline premier SEC school. To where if they come down, if we do split the Citrus Bowl or whatever, do this neutral site game, then if we win, it gives us a boost in recruiting. It gives us a national audience. It
Yeah.
gives us an advantage over the entire state. Whereas if Florida wins, it's like, okay, we just wasted this money to play a neutral site game with UCF. Now you got a neutral site game against UGA in the next couple of weeks. Good luck
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. I'd love to see it happen.
I would too, but I mean, it can't be this whole neutral site. Like for us as UCF, it doesn't make sense because we bring in almost $2 million for every home game or
Yeah.
something like that. We don't need that SEC game or that Big Ten game or whatever to boost our stadium average. Like we don't need it. It's a blessing and a curse, but I mean it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you said that because that's one of the questions I was getting ready to bring up with you too. Is I've asked a couple of people. So a lot of these schools, like Alabama, they end up playing, the School of Nuns of Holy Cross, as one of the warm-up games,
Yeah.
and so they destroy them. But at the same time, like I said, to start getting rid of they're like in the rankings, UCF goes undefeated. They don't even crack the top 10. Like I said, you just, at the end. And so you're looking at it, okay, so why is it they played the schedule that they scheduled? We're not giving them credit. But then you have other schools that are intentionally picking a team that's going to beat them. They're going to beat them. No, I mean, there's just the odds,
Yeah.
1 in a million that a Georgia
Never
State
happens.
that's going to beat these schools. And they keep scheduling and there's no penalty. And so what's your view? I mean, does that need to change? Because at the same time, these schools depend on that money and that revenue to keep their programs afloat as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think about what should happen because, like you said, like those small schools, they need those money games. That helps keep their team afloat. But it was the teams like us, Houston, our conference really, unless you're like bottom conference UConn almost, it doesn't really do that much good for us to take these buyout games because we can make that in gate anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So these $2 million games, I mean, that's not really a whole lot of incentive for us. Now, if you make it $5 million or make it $6 or something, make it some astronomical number for playing one neutral site or 2 home and home games or whatever, then okay. But they come at us with these little here's 1.5 mil to come play a neutral site game. And that's a slap in the face because we make that for every home game that we do anyways. There's no incentive for us. And I think this whole like Power 5, Group of 5 narrative is ridiculous because you're telling me that Vanderbilt's better than UCF?
No. We've talked about that many times.
They're cheeks.
That should, like Vanderbilt, they should be booted out of there.
Yes.
Like UCF should be brought up because it's going to definitely be better competition.
Like whether it's Big 12, SEC, ACC, whatever, but there's in every conference you have your 3 or 4 teams who are always at the top, and then there's the other 10 or 12 at the bottom who just keep bouncing up and down one spot every year and making it to some Rudy Poot bowl game if they go 6-6.
That's what me and Chris fight a lot is because obviously FSU. I said, what better money revenue and game in-state rivalries, man? You see how far we travel. You tell me we're not going to travel to Florida State. You're going to make so much money.
If UCF does that, then if you got UCF playing FSU, UM, or UF either once every 2 years or whatever, then now that's kind of putting pressure on them to compete every single year for these recruits, for the donor money, for stuff like that.
So we talk about it a lot too. What conference would you want to play in of the P5? I always said, ACC because all the teams are close, but that's like the best conference for UCF to play in.
I mean, ACC would be ideal, but there's already 18 teams in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, and logically, Clemson goes to SEC. You move around a lot of people, and there's a free spot in one conference. What would you want to go into at the time?
I mean, if I had to pick, I would say either ACC or Big 12.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like our team kind of fits those mold. I mean, granted, I think we could take on an Auburn or LSU like we did, but
Oh,
yeah, we need a whole lot more size to do that, and it showed the LSU game. Auburn, we had enough size and just enough speed to do the job, but LSU, their D line rotation was something else. It was just dudes after dudes coming in.
Can you imagine the learning curve going from
exactly.
where you're at right now, all of a sudden playing LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Florida? I mean, like that was huge.
It'd be insane. Like that gauntlet's real, but you got to survive that gauntlet of just playing. If you're in the East, of just playing UF and Georgia. That's the only really two teams I see in the East. South Carolina's coming up, but they're not the South Carolina they were when Clowney was there.
No,
and then on the West side, you have LSU and Alabama, and maybe Auburn. Depends on how they're playing that year.
Yeah,
those are really that's your gauntlet teams that you have to go through in your conference. Now you're playing Mizzou, Arkansas, Vandy, teams like that.
Mizzou.
So do you think the SEC should do something about, because let's be honest, Tennessee and Vanderbilt have been low bottom teams every year. I mean, should they move them out and bring somebody in for competition?
They're not. I mean, theoretically they could, but they're not going to because that's history. That's SEC is nothing but history in that league.
Everything is history based.
And that's
an
easy win.
Everything's history. Yeah,
it's an easy win for them. They're going to be like, no, we need them. That's an easy
but
win.
There's always that outside chance that Tennessee plays like Tennessee could play every single week and they beat Georgia or they beat Florida or something like that. There's always that outside shot that they could do it. They have every 5-star around that state, but at the end, I don't know if it's not coaching because they have good coaches.
Yeah.
So it's got to be within the locker room where stuff's just not clicking like it should.
I mean, do you think it was a Lane Kiffin thing that just set the program back a ways?
I don't think it was Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin can coach. That's proven. I don't think it's a Kiffin issue. I think it's just
came in and he just left, and then after that, Tennessee just went.
I mean, but then you could say it's a Butch Jones issue.
Yeah, true.
Because he had that brick by brick thing, and they signed like 16 4- and 5-stars within his time there, but then nothing ever panned out. I don't think it's coaching. It's got to be the players buying into the system and what he wanted to do. That's the biggest thing.
Some coaches and some players just don't fit with a demographic. I mean, they go to that school and they think they can mold that player, I'm assuming, to fit the demographic, and the player just can't play on that offense or that defense style.
The biggest thing that I appreciated was Coach Frost and his entire staff, from coaches to the weight room and everything, is they would tell you why. Like, it wasn't just going outside and running 15 110-yard sprints and you'd be like, why are we doing this? And you said, shut up and run. It wasn't that. It was, hey coach, why are we doing this metabolic circuit in the weight room? And then he'd sit down with you. He'd go through step by step. Why are you doing this amount of weight in this time period, and just plan everything out. And so that it's not just to make you do something. There's actually this purpose behind what you want to do.
See, I'm glad you brought Scott Frost up. I asked Aaron Evans because he was in that time frame you are now. Do you feel not betrayed? That's a big word. When we found out during the championship Scott Frost was leaving, were you mad at him, or did you realize, hey, it's got to happen? It's got to,
No, so like, I had the perspective of being a coach's kid. My dad was a head coach. My dad was a coach in Georgia. The most time I've lived in one town was 5 years, and that was college. So I understand moving and going after the bigger job and everything. And the reason why I understand why Frost left, it was because he wanted his son to be around his dad because his dad wasn't in such great health. And I get with doing it for family reasons, being at your alma mater, the pay raises that you can give to your entire faculty and staff. Like, I understand that. And I understand it's a business. Like, yeah, it sucks seeing him go, but I totally understand why he left and went to Nebraska. It's a no-brainer. If I ever get a chance to leave the school and come to UCF, I'm doing it in a heartbeat.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that means, what you're saying, your dad was a head coach. You got a couple plugs that you know around the way that you can go coach if it doesn't pan out.
Yeah, I texted Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, and everything this offseason looking for a GA spot.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I got plugs and everything, but it's the end of the day. Like, here in Georgia, I know I'll always be able to fall back on my connections and my dad's connections for a job in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And also with seeing so many college coaches come in and recruit at his schools, I have those kind of connections too, to where if I want to branch out to the college ranks, then it's a possibility.
Okay,
That's great. Hey.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome plug to
I'm gonna
have.
work it. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely got to work those. Those nice to get those opportunities. I don't want to pass those up. So
Absolutely.
Scott Frost, going to Nebraska. Why do you think it works so well at UCF and it's been such a struggle these last couple of seasons at Nebraska? I mean, are they just not? Do you think they're not buying into a system, or just not the right pieces yet?
I think it's got to be pieces, because at UCF we were already small and fast when Frost got there. All Frost did, I mean, not all, but like what he mainly did was recruit bigger and faster kids than what we had. And then we busted our tails in the weight room for two off seasons, and we got to being not only small and fast, but we were also strong and fast. We were big and fast. And I think at Nebraska has a huge history of being these big, burly guys, but speed's not there.
Yeah.
It's just straight power. Like in Big Ten, it's mostly smash mouth, downhill football. We're going to run zone, counter, and power, and see what happens with it. It's not a whole lot of Ohio States. They're just airing the ball out a whole lot in the Big Ten. And so I think once he gets the right amount of balance between speed and power in that league, if they give him enough time to do that, then it will be something. Nebraska will be back on top. But also at Nebraska, you don't have the type of recruiting aspects that you have at UCF. You don't have the beaches, the sunny 75-degree weather year round, the amusement parks. You have Nebraska, and it's nothing but cornfields as far as you can see. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's another issue that comes with recruiting for Nebraska, whereas recruiting for UCF. So it's different aspects to look into it as far as that stuff goes. But I hope that he gets that thing turned around, because he's such a good coach and such a good guy in general. I mean, I hope nothing but the best for him.
Yeah, it's kind of Hawaii's thing. You got to convince somebody to fly in a plane 5 hours from the mainland.
Yeah.
Come play there. But
It's rough.
What would you say was the biggest difference between Heupel and Frost? Between the two coaching styles, what would you say just stood out to you?
The biggest difference, I mean, offensively, there's different styles, but I mean, as far as coaching wise goes, it wasn't really that different. We could still ask Heupel, why are we doing this? What's going on? And he would still tell us. I don't really think there was any kind of drop off from Frost to Heupel. I mean, you have, if anything, I would say it was the fact that Frost would sometimes pop into the weight room and do a couple of sets with us and then leave. Whereas Heupel was more of, he's a football coach. He's not going to come in there. He's not going to lift weights with you or anything, but he's going to come in there, see how lifts go, and check on you, and then bounce back to his office and do some recruiting, some film or film work, something like that.
So they're fairly similar then.
Yeah, they weren't totally. Yeah.
Like, I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, and I mean Pete Carroll. I mean, that is. As a coaching style, I mean, he's your hype man, and then you see the other one that's throwing the headset, yelling and screaming. Yeah. It's like, you could tell there's a stark difference between his coaching style and a lot of other people. And that's why I was curious if there was anything like that just stood out, but it sounds like they're fairly similar.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Nice.
Now, did you have a recruiter come to your high school, or like come to you and say, "Hey, come to UCF"? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So when I got recruited, I had Tyson Summers was responsible for my area in high school, and so he actually went to Tiff High School, and Valdosta played Tiff every year. We're in the same region,
Gotcha.
So he knew about me a little bit through that, and he knew my dad and knew my head coach, and so that was kind of how we got in contact with him. And then he was responsible for getting me down the games, talking to me, stuff kind of like that.
I'm just curious. I mean, my next, hopefully, I'm gonna try to get the recruiter for UCF, because you always said you're close to home and stuff like that. But dude, if you look at our roster now, we have like 5 to 6 quarterbacks. What are we doing so well recruiting that we have 6 quarterbacks on the roster right now? That's why I need to figure out
I think it's the sunny 75 beaches year round, that kind of thing. That's always nice. But you look out wide in your backfield, and who's your running back and who are your receivers and what kind of weapons you have on that field. Yeah, that's a quarterback's dream. That makes it so easy. I mean, you have to be able to spin the ball, but when you can throw a 9 route to Gabe Davis every time, and 9 times out of 10 he's going to come down with it, that takes a huge amount of pressure off of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey,
The
we'll
receiver,
take
the
it.
receive, the receivers in the backs make the quarterback look a whole lot better.
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
we see that with
Yeah.
Winston. We see that with Winston. We had
Oh
receivers
man.
that could go grab that ball, and it made him look a whole lot better than him just lobbing it up there and hoping they catch it.
Yeah. It makes the thought process a whole lot easier. It kind of makes the play calling situation a whole lot easier. There's not a whole lot of stress being put on that quarterback to make, picture perfect throws. He can put it within a 5-yard window and it's probably going to get caught.
Yeah.
So
Then we've asked most of the people that come on here, the recruiting question too is about you see players, through recruiting go to a school where they know they're going to sit for 2 years, 3 years. And I've always asked them, it's like, why not choose a school like UCF where you're going to go right on the field? Why sit as a backup in Ohio State when you could go to another school? It's like, dude, we need you as receiver right now. We'll put you on the field to keep
right.
passes.
I haven't been in that situation, so I couldn't really give you a definitive answer. My only thinking would be just the kind of, like when you say Ohio State, that just tells me that's tradition. So like it's just I want to be a part of the Ohio State tradition.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go out there. I want to play the Michigans. I want to play that type of atmosphere, week in and week out in conference play. I mean, I think that'd probably be just the atmosphere around that program would probably be one of the big things they have going for them. And being in the talks for the national championship year in and year out, they're always top 5, top 6, something like that, top 4. Like this year, there's always that kind of appeal to the young kids. Come here, sit for 2 years, but hey, more than likely in the next 4 years you're going to be in the playoffs.
And that could be because I come from the USC, Oregon. I was over.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was, you always had that run, especially during those championship times at USC. You had 3 running backs just stacked up, and the whole time I'm like, why not go play for a team like the University of Washington or somebody that's still in the same league and get the playing time, get the reps.
Just that tradition, that appeal to being in that limelight year in and year out.
Well,
never thought about the fact of tradition. I never thought of that. Your family is diehard Ohio State Buckeyes, and you have a chance to go play for that school, whether it's ride the pine or get on the field.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
Exactly.
I'm a Buckeye. That's my family tradition. So it makes a lot of sense. That makes.
Keith Cassiano. He just put I don't know if you can see the comments.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, that one from Keith. If you can see that one, that takes a little bit to read out there, but he's probably just like anytime he'd like you to kick balls at him. So
you got it.
Yeah, he's great.
So
love Keith.
Yeah, he's Captain America, Captain America jumpsuit. That the guy that was up there.
Yeah.
Got soaked.
Yeah. He's an idiot. God, he's stupid.
He's one of the fans of the program. It's like
he said he had pneumonia after the game.
God. But
so it'd be fun to get you guys together. Like I said, it sounds like that would be that'd be an awesome party.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be down for some more games this year. I went to 2 last year, but that was hard because I was coaching a high school ball, so it's kind of hard to match up my off week and then UCF being on the home game. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it down to at least a couple more games this year, hopefully.
We know we played Georgia Tech second game.
I'll be there.
So
I'll be there.
Yeah, Keith just said
legit pneumonia.
I wish I had a picture of him in that suit.
Yeah, man, I gotta find it.
Yeah, it's. But no, that's all. Yeah, just said we love you, Loudermilk. See, they said you definitely. Just from what Austin said and what I've seen, it's like you had quite the cult following.
What other punter besides Pat McAfee has a spot on ESPN for doing his shenanigans? I mean, there was a segment just for him.
Yep. I mean that's awesome. I mean, it's like not only do you have the one guy on game day that's waving the flag, whoever's got the UCF, you've got your own, you've only got your spot. Like I said. Here's what
I'll never forget.
Done.
It was I think it was Wednesday because we were staying in the hotel for Friday, and so we're at practice Wednesday, and I'm sitting on the side just chilling. And all of a sudden, our media guy comes up to him, to me and he goes, "You know who Maria Taylor is?" I go, "Yeah, I watch College Game Day every single weekend. Yes, I know who Maria Taylor is." And he goes, "You want to do a segment with her?" I go, "Shut up." And he goes, "No, I'm serious. You want to do a segment with her?" I was like, "Yeah, why are you even asking me?" He goes, "Well, what do you want to do?" I was like, "I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can go to the driving range and hit a couple of golf balls with her." And he goes, "Okay, we'll do that. We'll go to UCF's practice facility out at, I think it was Twin Rivers, like right across the street." I was like, "Okay, sweet." And then Thursday, next thing I know, Thursday afternoon, I'm getting mic'd up with ESPN's crew.
Wow.
Just hit a couple of golf balls with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was awesome.
Yeah, just tell me. So, how hard was it to shave those official locks that you had?
It wasn't that bad because that was always the original plan, was grow my hair out and donate it. But so when O'Leary was there, I didn't know that he had a rule where your hair couldn't touch your collar, and there was also no beard or anything. And so once my hair got long enough, it was like, "Hey, you got to cut that." It's like, I don't want to. I mean, I'm trying to do this. He goes, "I'm sorry, I understand why you're doing it, but the team rules are the team rules." And so I was okay. So I went and got it cut, and then once Frost got hired, I talked to him. I talked to Coach DeWitt. I was like, "This is the plan. Is it okay if I do this?" He said, "Yeah, man, go ahead. It's no issue." So then as soon as that year happened, the hair started growing along with the beard, and then the rest is history.
There you go.
Nice. That's when the notoriety came in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Man. Well,
sir, it's been a pleasure very much.
Thanks for having me. I've loved it.
Yeah, especially after the pro days. I mean, we'd love to have you on again. Just
absolutely
go. I mean, just keep up with you. I mean, like I said, even if it's a year down the road and you're coaching college, we would love to have the opportunity to have you on again. Just catch up with you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem with that at all.
Like I said, everybody loves you, man. I'm just
yeah, you see it.
You've got that's cool. So, but thanks again, sir. Really appreciate it. Just want to
thank you for coming on.
Night.
Yeah, no problem at all. Anytime, let me know and I'll come back on. No issue at all.
No problem.
I mean, also if you got any buddies that want to just come out, air out some conversation, you let them know we're cool. Just come air out some conversation. We'll have anybody on.
You see what we do? Just simple.
This is awesome. Man.
Yeah, that's what we told Coach Alex. We're like, we're not here to sabotage anything. It's like, I mean, we even told it several times. If we ask something that you can't answer, just tell us next. Just say, it's not our job to get you guys in trouble. I go, we're not looking to get the sound bite that's going to get us ESPN.
Not trying to get a scoop or anything.
No.
We just, I think that's why we didn't get a harsh letter from UCF. We just got one that's like, please guys stop.
Yeah.
You got to stop. So, Austin Cooper says, thank you. So there you go. All right, sir. Well, thank you again. You have a great.
Thank you so much, man.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, like I was telling Keith, man, like we got done with Jordan Johnson. I was like, I always wanted to interview Matt Loudermilk. We talked to you guys after the episode. I Instagram messaged him within 10 minutes. He liked my message and responded. I'm like, cool. No way. There's no way. And you see it. So.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, it was one of those, the more we go in through, I'm starting to meet these guys, starting to, learn about them. It's just, it's really cool. I mean, I've yet to have, anybody on where I'm like, it's kind of boring. I mean, Brandon Wimbush was probably the hardest one. We're trying to get him to answer because it seemed like he was distracted.
Yeah.
As we were talking to him. But I mean, this last two, I mean, especially with Mac, I mean, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And he did beat me up over my punter comments. So.
I told you, he's a great guy, man. He's chill.
That was exciting. I was glad for that. I was just like, he took it easy on me. So I'm sure my punishment somewhere down the road when I'm least expecting it. Just
he's gonna get you when he's in Orlando.
Yeah. So it's this was we'll have to once again keep saying it. We got to get with Kelly, get sample things so we can send them off here because.
Yeah,
we'd say it, but we can't. We still haven't got it yet. Kelly Brott's beard. We got.
So I don't think Kelly would have approved of it. I waited way too long, and I ran out of beard oil. I did order his new one, the Habanero. What is it? Yeah, I ordered that one because I'm out, and today I ended up mixing my apple butter with my Island Breeze. So it was a weird combination, but I had to do something.
Island Breeze and
And apple butter. My little drop was left, so I did order my new one. The new scent. It came out. He just came out with it this week, so I'm excited to smell it.
I'm looking at him, trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, it was like a mixture of it was a black pepper, Havana, and sandalwood, and vanilla.
Oh yeah. I gotta smell that one. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds like.
It sounds good. So
it sounds great. Yeah. So then, so he's our primary sponsor. I want to thank him. Check him out at BrossBeardCare.com. Promo code 3Beards, capital B on that. You get 20% off free shipping and products. So definitely, we all use the beard products. Soap, Dandy Cakes, Nancy Burke's other sponsor. Yep. 407-923
2898.
2898. Yeah, there. Check her out. Nancy B. That's the site.
I posted it somewhere. I may not have gotten that, but yeah, it's Instagram is nancy.b.burke and Facebook is Nanny Cakes Nancy Burke. I understand the whole coronavirus is freaking everybody out, but still, the weddings. You're still planning weddings. She does amazing wedding cakes, birthday cakes, every kind of event. So.
The baking process should kill it all off anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't sneeze or cough on the cake in between the time and the time of the year, you should be good. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
The oven should kill it all off. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Check her out. Same thing. Mention us. You're going to get a discount. I want to say it's 15% or something like that.
50% off. Yep.
So mention her. Check us out. On pretty much every forum. We got YouTube, we have Twitter, Instagram, obviously Facebook. We're also on podcast forums, and just like, share, send these things out so that way we can get more people on, get more exposure, as seasons go on, we'll end up being easier to get guys like Mac to come on because they're just like, it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, which has been great. So, all right, gentlemen, well, thank you. And we will see you guys Wednesday, and we'll, figure out what topic we're going to talk about then. So,
we'll post it later.
We will talk later on.
Later.
See ya.
Good night.